So when we do work, we need an imbalance in energy, right? We need to have higher energy than, we need to use higher energy in order to do work in a system. If we have the same energy on this side and this side, no work is done, because you can't use, like you can't, I don't know, you can't do work on a system with a balanced system, because like if it's equal, then it's nothing, right? If you're putting an equal force towards this force, then nothing's happening. Anyway, because of that, we know that, entropy increases, and we're increasing entropy, and basically we're creating lower. By increasing entropy, we're taking energy and putting it in a lower state that is less useful to us. And that's basically what increasing entropy is we're taking something that's of high energy and we're bringing it to a lower state in order to do work on a system, but that's kind of like a balancing thing. In the long term, this will lead to the heat death of the universe. And so what I'm trying to say here is that at the heat death of the universe, it's not that there's no energy, it's just that all the energy is evenly spread out. And so basically it's equivalent to there being no energy at all, because none of it is useful energy, right? There's energy everywhere, but also it's all the same, it's all equal, so you might as well just say there's no energy at all. And so basically you're in a void of nothing. There's no energy, there's nothing, but there is actually energy everywhere. It's just not useful to you. You can't interact with it, right? And so, what's to stop this void from forming something that can use it, that can utilize this, this potential state, right? Because if we create something that's at a lower potential state than what everything else is at, all of a sudden it's not balanced anymore. So what if something was created that's actually at a lower potential, like has a lower energy level than this thing, right? Then all of a sudden you've got energy everywhere that's free and ready to use in this new system. So, what is to stop something from forming in this void, that would just span on for eternity? It would never, nothing else would ever happen, right? So what's to stop something from spontaneously happening and forming basically to consume this energy that's just sitting there? And the likelihood of that happening is like basically zero. There's no chance that ever happens, right? But when nothing else is happening, this universe goes on for eternity. At some point, it doesn't matter how long it takes. If it happens at all, then it happens, right? So, it's basically certain that it'll happen if there's infinite time for it to happen, right? And if it does happen, right, then all of a sudden, boom, like I said, there's an imbalance again, and it's a field day for whatever this is that's consuming this energy that's here, right? And so, they're consuming it and spitting it back out again, and they're reducing the energy state just a little bit more, right? And then all of a sudden you've got this useless energy again that's starting to build up that is no longer useful to the system, basically, right? And then eventually it evens out again, and then we're back to square one, right? It's completely even. There's no differences. The system is balanced again, and it's basically considered a void. There's nothing, right? But then what's to stop that from eventually happening again and again and again? Because it doesn't really matter what the initial energy was, as long as you have less than that, right? Then you can keep doing it. But we don't, like, it's an arbitrary value, right? Because if you have something, you can always have less than that, right? You know, like if you think about it, like in between 0 and 1, there's an infinite amount of points. If you continually break it down, right? There's an infinite amount of points between just 0 and 1. So if the energy in the entire universe is equivalent to 1, the thing that appears only just has to be 0.99, right? And then all of a sudden there's an imbalance. And then you can do that all the way down, you know, go down by like 1 decimal, maybe not even, maybe it's 0.9999999, right? The thing is that what I'm trying to say is that there's infinite points in between 0 and 1. So it really doesn't matter what the energy was before, it's just the fact that there is energy there. Because you can always make the new energy state less. You will always be able to make it less. It may be such a tiny number, but if it's still imbalanced, it's imbalanced. And so, what if that's like pretty much what our universe is doing? You know, to us, you know, living in this world, we look around and, you know, I mean, there's matter all around us, you know, especially on a planet, we're looking around, it looks like there's nothing here, there's nothing around me, oh, but there's air, right? And what's in the air? Atoms. So it looks like there's nothing here, but I'm actually surrounded by matter right now. But if you look out at space, you know, it's more of a void. I mean, I don't even know if it's really even a complete void itself, but it's more of a void than on the Earth, right? And it looks like there's nothing around us. There's no energy here, right? But there is. We just can't see it. We don't know how to interact with it because it's not on... it's... how do I say this? It's pure energy. It's just pure energy, right? And the problem with it being pure energy is if it's pure energy, it has no mass. And we need there to be matter. We need mass in order to observe it. Because everything, like all of our senses are based off of, you know, touch, right? Touch, taste, sight, hearing. What are the 5 senses? Why am I, what am I missing? That's embarrassing. I don't know. And smell, that's what it is. But my point is that all of those things, except for sight, need atoms, right? Because without atoms, there's no interaction there. And sight is, you know, radiation, it's light. And, you know, believe what you will. Personally, I believe that light does in fact have some mass to it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we have no way to interact. We can't comprehend a way to interact with something that doesn't have mass. So to us, it's outside of our observation, but it's everywhere. It's surrounding us. Even in the space, like this space is filled with matter, but it's also completely filled with, I would say, dark energy or whatever. This other energy. It permeates everything because it is everywhere. And I don't know if I can really explain that in a way that makes sense. The best thing I can say is, I guess basically I can say is we know that atoms are a majority empty space, right? There's the nucleus and then there's the electrons flying around, but for the most part, it's just empty space. And what do you think's in that empty space? It's dark energy. There's dark energy. It's just to us, we're solid because we're made of matter. But to something of pure energy, we're like, a sieve. We don't hold back the water or the flow of water or the flow of energy. It passes right through us. Like we aren't even there, pretty much. Because, on a certain level, we're barely here. We're mostly empty space, which is so crazy. But we're almost like ghosts walking through this, I don't know. I don't know if field is the right term. This, I would say, fluid of energy. Because it does flow. It's not. It's not stagnant. Yeah. I think that's all I have to say on that one. So, peace out.